What an evening, Ali. Thank you so much. Manchester City have done it. We are through to the semi-final of the Champions League again. Welcome back to Matchday Live. I'm Natalie Pike. I think I am anyway. Honestly, I'm a bit so all over the place right now. I'm not sure what is going on. What a 45 minutes of football. Or what of... I'm not sure, gents. Trevor, Andy, Paul. Andy, sum up what we've just seen there in that second half.
Yeah, it's football, without goal. It's theatre. It was amazing intensity. We were all feeling it in here. All four of us are jumping around, hanging on for the last few minutes. We spoke about it at half time. There'll be a red card and it'll get ugly towards the end. And we were right, but I don't think you had to be a football scientist to know what was coming at the end of that game. But an incredible performance, and every one of them stood up to a man, and they got the job done. And they're heroes in many ways.
Props to the man that said it was going to be 0-0 as well, Andy. You had it. You called it.
Well, I said 1-1.
Oh, did you? I
yes.
thought, I gave you 0-0. You could have claimed it.
Too much credit and all that, But, yeah, it was just great. You could feel the emotions in here. I'm trying to calm Dickie down because he wants to get on a plane out to Madrid.
What would you like to do when you get to Madrid, Dickie?
I'd like to go and smash a few of their players, actually. I'm not going look, I thought it was a magnificent performance. How many times we sit here and talk about the brilliance of De Bruyne, Foden, Sterling, all the wonderful players we've got, but defensively standing up and under pressure. I think we said before the game about the experience of the last few Champions League campaigns. I think that showed tonight. There was no way they were going to get beat tonight. Mentality they had, not to let them score. The calmness they had as well, because the last 10 minutes they were ridiculous. They were trying everything to get booked, to get players injured and everything else. But I absolutely loved that performance as much as I would have done if we'd won 4-0.
It's another one of those games where I'll love it now when I look back on the highlights. When I watch the game back, Trev, I'm going to love it.
You know the score.
Yes, but I did not enjoy that.
No, and one of the things, you talk about team spirit. When Phil Foden got kicked and there was a red card, I love Zinchenko. Because their player was trying to get hold of Phil. He's a young lad, he was on the floor, he was wounded, probably milking it a little bit, but their player shouldn't go anywhere near him. And Zinchenko wasn't even on the pitch, and he's ran over, protected him, grabbed their player away. That's team spirit, that's togetherness. And that'll help the boys in the next game. That will help the boys going forward, not just in the next game, for the next season and so on. That kind of team spirit, looking after each other. I thought it was superb, that.
Yeah, I absolutely loved that as well. I loved the effort that everybody put in. Like you say, Zinchenko on the bench protecting Foden. I loved the celebrations on the pitch at the end between all of the players looking up to the fans. That felt like an achievement tonight, Andy. That was a real team effort.
Yeah, it's like Trevor's just said, going forward, that changing room now, we've been in them changing rooms when you've been through, and that's a war going on there today. It really was, those last 20 minutes. To be fair, great play, credit to Madrid, the second half. I mean, I'd love to see the possession stats. They dominated the second half, which makes you ask why they wouldn't try and do that over the two legs. But like I say, the boys will be so proud in there tonight, and there'll be a togetherness that comes through adversity. And when you come through that sort of game and that situations like that, there's a strength that builds in that changing room, and it will hold us in great stead going forward.
I'll give you those stats, Andy. I've only got the whole game, but if you remember the first half stats, we had 70% of the possession. Well, it dropped to 60% to us, 40% to them in that second half. They also had 14 shots, 3 on target, which obviously, considering we know they had none in the first leg, Andy, goes exactly to what you were saying there.
Yeah, no, I thought they were terrific, and we know they've got good players, and we know they've got the ability to go win games. The unsavoury stuff at the end is what lets them down, but it's about getting through. The lads have got through, and they'll look back at this season as it's gone on, and they'll say that was one of the toughest games, because what we thought they looked tired, and they had to dig in really. They had to go to the depths there tonight in them last. On that turnover, on the counter attack, there was Phil Foden. I'd love to see his stats, because the sprints that they had to mean to get back in, to get into shape, because Madrid were leaving 3 or 4, at times 5 up in them last 15 minutes, and that's hard to play against, because you end up going back in, then you can't get out. What we do to teams. So, great credit to them, but the boys, like I said, coming through that adversity was magnificent.
I think one of the most impressive things as well is off the back of Sunday. Yeah. Huge game. Everybody building Sunday up to the biggest game in recent history in the Premier League.
Absolutely.
And then to get through that, and Andy was talking before the game about the mental state that you're in, to then go to a huge game like that, and how the game panned out as well. The second half, we were under the cosh. I've never seen us have to defend like that in a long time. But I've got to say, Ederson, and for me, Laporte and John Stones were absolutely outstanding. We talk about all our flair players and how fantastic football we play. The blocks chucking their bodies on the line. Fernandinho, when he came on, was
brilliant,
absolutely sensational for the 10-15 minutes.
And
Ake's been brilliant since he's been at the club, and he's been called upon, because he knows he's not going to play every week. But whenever he's been on the pitch as starting or as a sub, he's been absolutely
great
sensational.
Attitude as well. He must be training well. You know, he's a great team player, and to have someone like that in the squad to be able to call on when you need him. You know, and he come in, first contact, winning balls in the air. I thought he was superb when he came on.
I thought that, Ake was brilliant, Stones was brilliant, you say Laporte was brilliant. Hopefully Kyle Walker's going to be okay if we're looking at any worries that have come for that. Kyle Walker went off. But when Fernandinho came on, Trevor, I said, I'm so happy to see him, because I felt that's exactly what we needed in that moment. We needed his calmness, we needed his fresh eggs, we needed his leadership, and he did everything we wanted him to.
He needed all of it as well, especially in that little melee, when it kicked off. You needed calm people in there, but also someone who's going to protect the younger players who've never been in that environment before. I thought he did that superbly well, but just his play as well, keeping the ball nice and calm in possession, and then when he had to go and press and make tackles, he did. He was superb. There was a couple of times we did notice where he'd made a press, the ball went out wide, and rather than running out wide, which he used to do when he had younger lads, he'd run straight back and just get
shortest line back in.
He's got legs, but he's not got the same legs that he used to have. No. But still, he looked, for what is he, 36, 37?
It was
he's
his
still
voice,
very
though,
mobile.
Trev. His voice. He's pointing people around. He's pushing Rodri in. He's pulling people in. I can't tell you the importance of somebody coming in at that point in the game, because you're so wrapped up in it. Just to hear a voice behind you giving you little gentle instructions, and he does it. He's magnificent at it. He's an incredible leader.
You get better at that as well, don't you?
Yeah,
when you get older.
so. You see
now he is probably looking to go into coaching and playing. That is massive for him.
But what he did do, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, he tried to smash a few as well.
Yeah.
And it was as if to say to the other players on the pitch, look, they're giving us a bit here. Let's give them a bit back and show them that we're going to stand up to them.
Yeah.
And I think the other players reacted to that as soon as he came on the pitch.
Yeah.
I felt so reassured when he came on the pitch. I loved that. And also when Nathan Ake came on as well, I felt reassured, because obviously we were all a bit shook by Kyle Walker going off, and we really sincerely hope that he's going to be okay. Nathan Ake coming on, and like you say, Paul, he's been so good. Whenever he's been called upon this season, he's been solid. And I want to give him an honourable mention. Was it 87, 86 minutes? John Stone makes a big block. A few minutes later, he makes a really important move in the box. That he just nicks the ball off them at just the moment you needed it.
Yeah, absolutely. He come back round on the cover. I think it was the flick. There was a ball flick from Fernandinho, which is, you can't legislate as a defender. You can't read that. He's obviously not offside. He's gone early because of the flick, but magnificent covering in around on the blind side to get it.
Did you think that's because he's a centre half? He's filled in at left back. He's seen that danger happening.
Senses danger,
yeah, 100%. The importance of that moment there, and the blocks in at the end there, and then even getting a shot off with 10 men. If you chuck the ball in the box, you're going to get second phases, and I'm just glad we got through it. I really am. Yeah. I'm absolutely delighted.
Yeah, they deserve it. And times like that, you can't have any shrinking violence. You can't have players either hiding from the ball in possession or out of possession, going missing and not doing the workload. But every man to a T. I thought they worked the socks off, and they really earned that. They had to earn it.
Yeah. We've had a question in from Michael Johnson. He says he's from Lagos in Nigeria, so I don't think it's the Michael Johnson. But his question is Atletico our toughest opponent of the season so far?
I think on the second half performance, yes. I think over the two legs, no. I agree with Andy completely. How they can turn and play like that and put us under that much pressure. I know they're at home and they really need to go in the second half, but why don't they do that for the whole game and a half before that?
The detail in their press, their shape. We could not get out. Yes, we haven't got a 9. If we had a bit of presence in there, when we go back to Dzeko, that can get you up the pitch and they're given that platform. But their press was so good. The detail in their press was so good further up the pitch from what they did at home. Makes you beggars believe why they wouldn't try and just get more from a game rather than just suffocate it until the latter stages.
I think the players will get, as good as they are already, they'll get so much more from that performance tonight, as in the togetherness that they had and everything else. And it actually feels sitting here as if we won the actual game. I know we've won the tie. But the feeling that, and the way they celebrated as well, they know how tough a game they were in tonight.
From a physical presence, I think it was really difficult, obviously coming off the back of the weekend's performance and what they had to put into that game against Liverpool, but also from a mentality point of view. I think that tested the boys to the max, and they come through with flying colours.
So we already know who we're going to be playing in the semi-final. Of course, Real Madrid. Chelsea had an incredible game last night, and it is Real Madrid that we will be playing. We're not going to talk about it too much, Andy, because obviously there is a lot of games between now and then. We have the FA Cup semi-final at the weekend, and then we have several Premier League games before that semi-final. But are you looking forward to playing Real?
Now, we're playing in the Champions League semi-final against Real Madrid. Do you know what I mean? And
do you know what I'm really?
It almost feels normal, doesn't it?
I'm really looking forward to the Matchday Live producers taking us all out to Madrid to do the commentary from there. What do you think?
Yeah, no, that would be that magic, but it's testament for where we're at. Yeah. You know, pinch yourself sometimes. We just knocked out Madrid. We're now going to play Real Madrid home and away in the Champions League semi-final on the back of being in the final next year. You know, it's an incredible
and we'll be favourites.
Achievement.
And we'll be favourites. Who would have thought that?
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, and you, like Trevor said, that it feels normal to be at these deep stages in the Champions League now.
And that's where We're Not Really Here comes from, because we've been there. You know, we've been there where we've struggled, and we've been in the depths of the football pyramid. And you look how far this club's come over the last 20 years. Semi-final, obviously final last year. Let's hope we can get to another final this year.
I love it. I'm so happy right now. Although if you'd have seen me approximately 20 minutes ago, it was a very, very different
It's a fright show.
Yes. Right, we're going to have a look at whose stat now. We're going to go back over the clues, and we're finally going to let you know whose stat is this evening. So, clue 1 was, this player joined City from Atletico without playing a single minute for the Spanish side. Then we gave you clue 2. This player was one of 3 Argentinians in City's 13-14 title-winning season. And clue 3. This player reunited with Manuel Pellegrini at City after being together at Malaga. So, who do we think got it first?
I think I thought I'd half an idea, but I've got to give the big man credit.
Right, yeah. Andy, whose stat?
Well, I turned to Paul and I said, who was the player that played with us? Had a ponytail. That's all I could remember. And to be fair, I think he said Di Michaelis.
Is it Di Michaelis? It is Martin Di Michaelis. Well done, gents. Also, well done to Pravnav, to Elaine, to Lawrence, and to Wilson. And well done to all of you, because there was not many people that got that this evening. So congratulations to you. Well done, Andy. So the games continue to come thick and fast. On Saturday, Trevor, we have another semi-final. This time it is the FA Cup, where we play Liverpool again. How is this game, this performance, this fight going to affect the selection and the performance on Saturday?
Well, to start with, you know, you look at Kyle Walker. Is he going to be able to recover from that injury? It looked like an ankle. I wouldn't have thought so. So that's a big loss, because obviously his speed. He's only just back in the squad as well, so that'll be a big miss. But I think, you know, you look at what's happened with the shape of that game and how much effort we've had to put into that game. Kevin De Bruyne's injury, how bad is that? But one thing that they will get from this, it's getting through the tie. And I think they'll take confidence from that, wrap them in cotton wool, get the recovery done, and hopefully they can be in good shape to face what's going to be I would imagine, a very strong Liverpool side at Wembley.
Well, of course, like Trevor said, Andy, going to go into the game in a lot of confidence. We know the performance that we had against them in the league on Sunday. We know the chances that we had, and we know that we dominated most of the game. Then we know how difficult tonight was and how well we played and how we came through it. So come Saturday, we certainly have confidence on our side. Yeah,
of course, we're on a run. You know, we're in great form. I'm looking at the strength of the bench, you know, and what can come in. You know, Diaz, Ake, Sterling, Grealish, Zinchenko, Fernandinho. You know, we've got quality that can come in. And I'm sure the manager will assess things over the next couple of days and look at the players that, you know, he believes can go again. You know, three games of that size in literally 7 days. It'll be 6 days when it was Sunday. It's an amazing ask of them to go again. I'm
just looking at some of them young lads that have experienced that night there.
Yeah.
You know, Delap and Adozi and McAtee and Lavia.
Yeah, that changing room after this game.
What an incredible experience for them boys.
It'll be going off, won't it?
Yeah, they'll be absolutely buzzing.
Yeah.
With it all. And I think going into Saturday, it's dust yourself down and go again, isn't it? Yeah. But I genuinely believe, I don't think Pep prioritises any sort of trophy or games and anything else. But I do think before the first Atletico game, it was all about getting through the tie, not getting beat off Liverpool, and then maybe just go and join the FA Cup game. You know, I think where priorities lie is obviously the league, obviously the Champions League.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the FA Cup's not important, so it's fantastic for the fans, trip to Wembley and everything else. But I think they'll be able to breathe a little bit now and maybe relax going into the game on Saturday.
So Liverpool also played tonight, and their game ended up 3-3, although they were never in massive danger of being knocked out. What they were able to do, Trevor, though, is rest some of their key players. How will that affect the game?
Well, listen, I think that psychologically, them players that are rested will feel they can probably take advantage of Manchester City's really difficult game tonight. Obviously, we mentioned the injuries, but like Paul just said, we've got players that can come off the bench there, that can start in that game. That's not a second fiddle team. You know, they're starters in their own right. So, listen, the two great teams. It's going to be a fantastic spectacle, and yeah, I'm pleased to be down there.
You're down there, and you're down there as a fan, eh, Dickie?
Yeah, I am down watching. Take my lad Max down with me, so I'll be able to enjoy it, rather than... Well, that's not saying I don't enjoy working with you guys, but obviously I'll be able to have a nice little glass of wine and watch the game.
Enjoy it. Andy, thank you so much. Trevor, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to watch the game with all of you, although I'm sure it wasn't a pleasure for them to be watching with me tonight. It was a difficult 45 minutes for me, but I'm so thrilled with the result. Manchester City have made it to the semi-final of the Champions League. Again, we will be playing Real Madrid. Oh my goodness, it is pinch yourself stuff. Big thank you to Trevor, to Andy and to Paul for joining me. Thank you very much for watching Matchday Live this evening. I will be back on Saturday for that FA Cup semi-final. I will be here in the studio and I'll have Joleon Lescott and making his debut, Steve Howie. And Esme Morgan's coming as well. I love Esme Morgan. She was absolutely fantastic last time she was on the show. So another panel of amazing guests. Arkel's going to be down at Wembley. He's going to be pitch side with Stephen McInerney, giving you all the feels from Wembley, letting you know exactly what it is like down there. So you can join me from 2:15 on Saturday. Of course, that is a 3:30 kickoff. And best of luck to all the Blues that are travelling down this weekend. We know how difficult it's going to be for you to get there, so travel safely. Now, it is a big week of games throughout the club. Tomorrow night, our under-18s are playing in the Premier League 2 against Liverpool. We spoke to Jadel Katongo and Kane Taylor ahead of the game. You can get it on City Plus, 12 o'clock tomorrow. Blues, we've done it. We're in the semi-final. We'll see you again on Saturday.
Thursday's game against Liverpool is first versus second, so does that put an extra weight of significance on getting a result?
Yeah, definitely. I think if we win this game, it would be a massive boost for us in the league, definitely. Just improve our confidence, no matter what.
Any slip-up's going to cost us, so just got to remain focused and calm. You know, we know what we're there to do, so if we can get 3 points, I think it will help us massively.
How much of an influence will the Under-17 PL Cup have on our push for the title this season?
I think it just gives us that extra confidence because, you know, we won the game 4-2, so we know what they're like. So yeah, if we can just take the same stuff into that game, obviously add on a bit more, then I think we should be fine, get a result.
I think the morale around the change rooms, around the building after the win is very high. So I think this will have a good effect on the game on Thursday for sure.
City are unbeaten at home this season, so will the fact that the game's on familiar soil be a boost to the team?
Yeah, because when we're at City, you know, we know the pitch in and out. We're confident here. We can't let any club come here and dominate us. So, yeah, if we know it well, we should do well.
Terence Miles is committed. Chambers with the clearance, and a chance here for Barrington. Oh, and City on a breakaway.
A late Luca Barrington goal earned us a 1-0 win in the reverse fixture. What are your memories of that game, and are you expecting a similarly tough examination this time round?
Yeah, I remember it because I was just coming back from a little injury, so I was straight back into the deep end. But I think we know what we're going to expect to be a good physical challenge, very direct. But I think us and the lads will be all ready for it.
What's been the overriding message from Ben Wilkinson ahead of the title running?
It's just to not get complacent because we've obviously done well recently. We took one loss, but you know it's part of the journey, unfortunately. But we just got to remain focused, back each other, and you know stick to the tactics, and it should come through.
Just mainly keep focused, keep pushing. Of course, we're going to have a few off days here and there in training, but as long as we grind out and get the results, that's all that really matters.
With the game being on City Plus, how exciting is it to get that extra exposure and know that people all around the world are watching you guys?
Yeah, well, it's good for us because, you know, we're all on this journey to get to the first team, so I feel like it will all help because you get that exposure, so you get to meet the fans a little bit, so yeah, it definitely help us.
Me, myself, I don't really pay attention to the cameras, but obviously after the game you see things on social media which is good, and it just helps your mood, definitely.